Okay, do you know the feeling when you leave the butter in the fridge overnight and you want to make a toast with butter in the morning? But then naturally the butter is quite hard and just makes life a bit more challenging, especially in the morning. So for the past few weeks, months and even years, we've been working on a butter dispensing system that I have it right here at the front of me. I know that it doesn't look much like it, but this is actually the first prototype that was brought to us by our customer. And our designers were given a task to upgrade it from all the aspects, from the design aspect, from the functional aspect, and also to make the device much smaller, since currently the first prototype measured at around 1.30 meters, which made the device quite big for a machine that's supposed to only to dispense butter. So up here is the second prototype. It is a visual prototype that meant to conform the aesthetical assumptions, and actually it's supposed to work on a completely different mechanism, on a rotating roller, which made the device significantly smaller, but at the same time it made the device look like one of those old TVs, which, let's say, didn't really go well with the client's vision. So we had to go back to the drawing board and go back actually to the very first prototype and optimize it. So basically we still were using the same mechanism, although compressed it significantly. And here it is the prototype number 3. And as you can see, it is significantly smaller, but also a little bit more taller comparing to the other prototype that I showed you a second ago. During the design process, our designers explored 5 different concepts, and each was quite, and I would even say significantly different from one another, both in terms of the shape, the design, but also the materials and technology, manufacturing technology that would have been used in production. So in order for you to have your soft butter in the morning, surprisingly there's actually a lot of things going on within inside of this system with a lot of various functions. So allow me to walk you through exactly how does the system works and how does it deliver the butter. So I would just like to say, or it's worth mentioning, that this is a functional prototype and it is not a unit made for a full-scale production. So inside of the system lies the so-called magazine. Here is where we put the butter inside the system. Right, the magazine will hold around 8 cubes of butter in total. And you might be asking yourself, why do you need so much butter? Well, actually the product is not dedicated to home use, but it is most suitable for hotels and restaurants where large quantities of butter are frequently used. So the cubes of butter are placed inside and the magazine can hold around 8 in total. So once the butter is inside the magazine, we push it back into the system. We close the doors, like so. And the system automatically detects that the butter is inside by pushing the piston that is located inside into the magazine, and it knows precisely how much butter there is in the system. Also, that's the reason why the product is so big inside. Well, it is first of all significantly smaller than the original prototype. Although it is big in size because it's using a piston which actually pushes the butter down through the magazine and dispenses it at the bottom over here. But there's actually quite a lot of different features that are responsible for dispensing the butter correctly. So let me show you what I have in mind. So once the butter is pushed out through the magazine thanks to the piston, it reaches a set of 2 rollers that process the butter and in return generate heat. The heat generated allows for the butter to be at the perfect consistency for consumption. Also, the set of 2 rollers, as well as many other elements in this product, can be very easily detached and then washed without any major difficulties. Once the butter is processed through the gears, it leaves through the nozzle right here, and the device knows exactly how much butter it needs to dispense for a single portion. And then once that happens, because, well, naturally the butter has a very sticky consistency, so it needs to be cut in some sort of a way. And up here is a heated wire which cuts the butter just at the right amount for a single serving. In order for the product to dispense a fresh portion of butter, it is as simple as placing a plate underneath the nozzle where a movement sensor is located nearby. The movement sensor then activates the dispenser, but the user also has a chance to use a more traditional way by pressing the button if he needs additional portions without having to lift up the plate and place it back in again. It's also worth mentioning that the system has a cooling system inside which stops the butter from melting. While the product is idle, it keeps the butter at around 8 Celsius. While the system is operational, the temperature goes up to maybe 12 to 15. However, it's still the perfect temperature for the butter not to melt. So in the end, this product is great for places like restaurants and hotels where they require a high volume of butter coming in at constant flow. And if we look back at the very first prototype that our customer has brought into our office, I mean, you can definitely tell that the product went through some incredible transformation.